Welcome back into the Sean podcast. It's me, Big Ush. It's this, the Cat Daddy. Cat Daddy, have we calmed down?
No. I'm still feeling spicy about that Jordan Love conversation.
Well, it's going to continue at some point.
I know.
What? Let's get into this. Let's see what changes we have for you this week, if any. So, Cat Daddy, let's start with your offensive players of the year.
All right, number one, still Tom Brady. Nobody performed better than him.
Right.
He was on a bye week. So, still number one. Number two, still Cooper Kupp. He was held out of the end zone this weekend, but he still corralled 11 for 95 yards. Still leads the league in receptions, yardage, on pace to break Megatron's single-season record, 16 or 17 games. And then my number three, very tempting to keep Derrick Henry in that number three spot because not many people have been performing to that level, but I figure sooner or later I've got to replace him. So I'm going to pull the Band-Aid off now. We're going to replace him with Lamar Jackson.
All right, here's the thing. Mine has changed, but not much. And you guys come after me if you want. Ush Elliott on my Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Get at me. All right, so Tom Brady's my number one. Cooper Kupp's my number two. And Dak fell to number three. There was no performances that I felt pushed Dak out of the number three spot. I thought about Lamar, but Lamar's performance wasn't that great either, even in a win. All right, next up, we got Defensive Player of the Year. How's yours changed?
All right, so I have shifting going on. Number one is now TJ Watts. He now trails Myles Garrett by half a sack, and he's played 2 less games. He is wrecking the game defensively, so it's really showing that contract extension that he got, absolutely worth it. Number two, Myles Garrett falls. He's still performing well, but TJ Watt just taking an extra step. And number three for me is not Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs has dropped out for me. You know, we figure it's really hard for a defensive back to win this award. So no interceptions over the past 2 weeks, and he's charged with giving up touchdowns the past 3 weeks, whether it's actually been his fault or not. He is charged with those. But enter Aaron Donald, who is quietly turning in a very consistent and productive season.
All right, so mine has changed also. Top two is still the same. I'm sorry, I still got Myles Garrett number one. He means a whole lot to that Cleveland defense. TJ Watt, close number two. But my number three is not Trayvon. He had by far his worst game this past week. Now, that doesn't mean Trayvon can't get back in there. But taking his place is possibly the best defensive back, because I don't just want to pigeonhole that corner or safety or whatever, and that's Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey has had, quietly, believe it or not, some pretty darn spectacular games. Next up, offensive rookie. Any changes?
No, I got the same three in the same order. I have Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, and Mac Jones. Now, I do have to note that it's Jamar Chase, Najee Harris. I mean, even after a slow week by Jamar Chase, he still has a pretty wide lead based on the consistency of how he's performed this season. Najee Harris himself has a pretty wide gap between himself and the number three spot. Now, Mac Jones, his spot is shaky right now. He didn't play the best. He's still getting wins, and wins are great for a rookie quarterback. Wins are great for a quarterback, but he's got competition because you're thinking Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Javonte Williams, Kyle Pitts, they're all knocking on the door because they've all been starting to heat up. Now, for me, if Mac Jones does not continue to progress offensively, he's going to be out of this top 3 pretty soon, maybe even as soon as this weekend.
So, I already pulled that trigger. Mine is Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, and Javonte Williams.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, Williams. I still don't understand Denver. I mean, Javonte still shows that he's the better back, yet they still run Gordon. It's almost like they have to justify the money.
Yeah, right. It's true. It's true.
Next up, defensive. Anything changed? And I would just like to see your scale.
Oh, okay.
For the defensive guys.
Micah Parsons. Odafe away. And then we got
somewhere down
number 3. Now, Micah Parsons has continued to perform consistently well this season, so he's definitely separated himself. At this point, he's played so well that he could miss several weeks. Not saying that I want him to. We don't want that. But he could miss several weeks.
Do not put that on him.
And he would still be number 1 on my list.
Well, let's be clear here. Sean over here actually, in our pre meeting, said that he was considering Micah for the 3rd spot for defensive player of the year.
I did. For me, it was,
let alone rookie.
T.J. Watt, it was Myles Garrett. Those 2 were easy ones. That number 3 one, I had to sit there and I'm thinking, man, Aaron Donald's been playing well. But so has Matt Judon in New England. But then Micah Parsons has been just extraordinary as a rookie. I mean, forget how many years he's played. He's just been extraordinary.
Here's the thing. You want to know something crazy?
Tell me something crazy
about Micah. All right. Let me pull up the game log here. All right. So he had his worst game. Let's see where we at. Against New England. And against New England, he had 3 solo tackles and 3 assisted tackles. Stat-wise. He was decent in coverage. So he was mad. Like when the press came to talk to him, he was upset about this. So the last 2 weeks against Minnesota, he had 10 solo tackles, 1 assisted tackle, 4 tackles for a loss. Then this past week against Denver, 8 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, and 20 lost yards. Yeah. The kid has arrived.
And it's very, very fun to see that he's been doing this at 2 different positions as a rookie.
Yeah.
That just makes it all better.
All right, next up. And you say 2, but technically it's any of those front 7 positions. He's played end, he's played tackle, he's played middle linebacker, he's played weak side, he's played strong side. Does not matter. All right, next up, coaches on the hot seat. And I think we got a little change up here. Sean, who's your coaches on the hot seat?
All right, now our first one is the same as last week. Matt Nagy. His coaching has done nothing to inspire any confidence in me, and I'm looking at this objectively as a football fan. I'm not factoring in I'm a Packer fan, he's a Bear coach. It's not as petty as that. It's just simply He's got a very valuable asset in Justin Fields, and he doesn't know how to use them. He doesn't make the adjustments quick enough, and I don't get it. I don't get it. You're not letting Justin Fields do Justin Fields things, and you need to.
I got a lot of buddies who are Bears fans. I've been telling them this for 2 years that Matt Nagy's not the guy. But go ahead. Who's your next guy?
And this is where it starts to get spicy. Okay. Number 2, Mike Zimmer, Minnesota head coach.
And this is where we have a conversation.
Minnesota is currently 3-5 in the season. They are 2-5 in one-score games. 5 of their games have come down to the final play, and they've lost 3 of them. That's poor coaching.
Which is why I don't think he should be on his list.
Poor coaching.
I disagree to an extent. I mean, the bounce of the ball, it's a tricky thing. And yeah, this could be poor coaching, but also it could be, a personnel issue. There could have been anything that happened here.
It just reminds me a lot of Anthony Lynn last season with the Chargers, not being able to win the games late, not being able to win them when it came down to that final possession, that final play.
Right, but the difference here is Mike Zimmer isn't having those truly embarrassing clock management or game management situations.
Yeah, but
yes, have they made mistakes? There's plenty I can point out, but you have to actually look into it to point out. With the Chargers, they were glaring where even the most casual football fan was, what the hell are they doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Zimmer overall has been a good head coach. He's been good, but what have his teams done? He hasn't been getting Minnesota to the playoffs or even deep to the playoffs. He's been Minnesota's coach for, I think this is 8th season.
Yeah, he has.
They've only gone to the playoffs 3 times.
And they've gone deep? What do you mean? What do you consider deep?
Championship game?
And they've been there.
Okay. How many times?
Once.
Okay.
Hey, you said they didn't make it there. I'm just getting the facts straight.
I think of look what happened with Mike McCarthy. Forget the whole quarterback thing going on, but he was winning. He was getting to the playoffs. He was getting to championship games. He wasn't getting it done beyond that point. Is getting to the playoffs good enough for Minnesota? Is getting 1 win in the playoffs good enough for Minnesota?
Here's the thing, though. At the same time, all right, with Mike McCarthy, I that was different. He was the scapegoat for Ted Thompson, let's be honest. And Aaron Rodgers had issues because he's Aaron Rodgers. As good of a quarterback as Aaron Rodgers is, he can be kind of a temperamental guy. On the other flip side here, in terms of Zimmer, this team is always competitive. Now, note, if he was to get let go, I'd understand it. I wouldn't agree with it, but I would understand it. The issue with the Vikings, I think, boils down to a certain position. You know which position it is. You know how I feel about that particular position. But, for example, let's bring up the Chargers, because this is your exact point here. Years ago, what was it? The GM was A.J. Brown, and the coach was my guy. Come on, get the name. The name is escaping me.
How far back we thinking?
LT, Drew Brees.
Schottenheimer.
Mari Schottenheimer. So Mari Schottenheimer goes 13-3 His star running back isn't playing. His quarterback plays on a torn ACL. Or was it MCL, whatever, sprained or whatever. Doesn't matter. They have a fluke situation where they get an interception and then the guy who intercepted it fumbles. And then the Patriots go on to win that game. And Marty gets fired. And then all of a sudden they bring in Nerve Turner. And what happened to the team after that? Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. The grass is not always greener.
Hey, I'm not saying if Mike Zimmer were to get let go, I think he would be able to find another head coaching position. I don't think there'd be any problem with that.
No.
I think he is a good head coach. I don't think the environment is the right one in Minnesota. They're just...
All right. Now moving on to
Told you
somebody
it's going to get spicy. Told you.
that I agree a little bit more with. We are in the minority of opinion with this particular head coach.
We
Go ahead,
sure
Sean.
are. Man, all right. Buckle up. Brace yourselves. Put your seatbelt on. Make sure your cup's on the counter. We got Kyle Shanahan.
What's he done?
Outside
He
of a
went to the Super Bowl.
13-3 season where he rode the defense to a Super Bowl because they had Jimmy Garoppolo as a quarterback. Outside of that, I believe Matt Nagy's record is actually better than his. And
Not to mention, what Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl, and he got let go.
well, yeah, there's a little bit more to that one.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And he could claim his quarterback was injured.
Kyle Shanahan is in his 5th year as San Francisco head coach. He's on pace to have his 4th losing season.
Agreed.
You keep Jimmy Garoppolo because you think he gives you the best chance to make the playoffs, which is
Since when?
fantastic. But this season, San Francisco has only beaten Detroit, Philadelphia, and Chicago. You just lost to Colt McCoy Cardinals. There are no playoffs for you this season.
Well, I mean, they've paid the wrong players. They've traded the wrong players.
How much of that is
not
John
cared about
Lynch?
the cornerback situation.
How much of that is Kyle Shanahan in
Oh.
John Lynch's ear
Oh.
making those trades?
Or drafting Reuben Foster
Oh,
and Solomon Thomas.
well, Solomon
What?
Thomas.
Remember when that draft happened and they're like, oh, Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster, geniuses.
Hey,
Not so
if it
much
works
now.
out, they'd look like geniuses now. The only reason we criticize them is it didn't work out. Now, you had red flags to
It
Reuben
did not.
Foster, but you had a second first-round pick at the very end. Could it have gone better? Yeah. Could you have taken a
When
safer
you
pick? Yeah. Am I mad at the risk they took with that pick? No, I think I wasn't
when
too
you
bad
whiff,
with that.
when you whiff,
Solomon Thomas. It's a good thing they got picks from the Bears for that one. That softens the blow on
no,
that
I'm just
pick.
saying, when you whiff on the defensive tackle in the top 5, it's one thing for the Bears to whiff on the QB. That's gonna happen. But when you whiff on a defensive tackle in the top 5 or defensive end, nobody knows what Solomon Thomas is. All right. Anyways, moving on. We'll get mine. Matt Nagy's my number 1. If you listen to the pod, you know how I feel about Matt Nagy. This guy outsmarts himself week in, week out. Joe Judge is my number 2. I understand the Giants won, but he still has not been good at his job. You are not Belichick. Get a new wardrobe. And then Number 3, I'm going with Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera was supposed to come to the Washington football team, and they were supposed to be amazing. This defense was supposed to be spectacular because he was bringing his defensive mind, and with all the players that they have, they were supposed to, not have to worry about the quarterback position because they were bringing in veterans. It hasn't really worked out that way. So, Ron, you on my list.
I'm not even mad at that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up, let's go quickly with our top and bottoms. So I'll go first mine. My ones are Green Bay is my number 1 team. They beat Arizona without wide receivers. So and they held KC to 13 points. This defense is really good, actually. And that offense, when Aaron Rodgers is at center, and he will be the quarterback for the rest of the season. After, I think he's gonna miss one more game, and then he'll be for the rest of the season, and they'll be on a tear. He's gonna be even more mad because of how people have treated him the past couple days.
Just fuel for the fire.
So, and then my number 2 team, Tennessee. When your best player goes down, you look even better than you did when he was there. Yeah, you're legit. And then my number 3 team is Arizona. I mean, when you stomp teams without your quarterback, without your best weapon, you're pretty good. All right, then my bottom teams, Detroit. All I gotta say is win a game. Houston, we expected you to be bad, but Tyrod comes back and how many interceptions did he have? And Miami. I know you won a game, Miami, but I expect more. Sean, who you got?
My top teams, all different from last week, because all 3 of my top teams from last week lost, and none of them looked good while losing. Back to number 1, Arizona Cardinals. Getting the job done with Colt McCoy. All right. Number 2, Tennessee Titans. In the absence of Derrick Henry, the Ryan Tannehill led offense and the defense step. I don't know if I'm ready to call it legit yet, because my big question is, will the Titans be able to rely on Tannehill and their defense each week? And that's the question I have for them. So not ready to say it's legit, but for right now, they got the number 2 spot. Number 3, Tampa Bay. So those are my top 3. My bottom 3, I got the same 3, slightly different order. First up, Houston Texans. You just lost the Dolphins. You're not getting out of my bottom spot. You just lost the Dolphins. The Lions, they're up next. You're still winless. You're 0 in 2021. So
win a game.
Yeah, at this point, they're not playing strong. They're not playing hard. They're not winning. So you got yourself number 2 spot. Congratulations. And number 3 is the Miami Dolphins. They didn't exit my bottom 3 just because their victory came against the Texans.
The Houston Texans.
That doesn't mean much. It got you past Detroit. I'll give you that, but you're still in the bottom 3.
All right, now we're going into
rapid fire picks.
Our picks. Rapid fire picks. Thursday night, we got the Ravens versus Dolphins. 7.5 point spread. Baltimore all day.
I'll take Baltimore with the spread.
Yeah. Then
Dallas with the spread. I don't even know what the spread is. Give me Dallas with the spread.
It's 9.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't know about the spread, but I think these Cowboys are going to come out pissed off.
Dan Quinn revenge game. Hungry Cowboys.
Yeah, Dan. Oh, yeah. They're going to be up for Dan, aren't they? Oh, no. Not to mention, I think Mike McCarthy was not happy this week. And you do know from Green Bay, when Mike McCarthy was not happy, the team the next week did not feel good.
Nope.
All right, now we have New Orleans traveling to Tennessee. Tennessee by 3. Give me Tennessee and the spread.
I agree.
Jacksonville goes to Indy. Indy by 10.5. I think this is going to be closer than what people think, but Indy.
I'm taking Indy, but not the spread.
Right. Oh, this game. The Browns travel to Foxborough to face the Patriots. 1.5 point spread, which means it's a pick 'em.
Cleveland's.
I'm going Patriots.
Cleveland's.
Ooh, I went Patriots.
Baker Mayfield's going to wake up feeling dangerous.
All right, this is a fun one. Bills are traveling to New York to face the Jets. 13 point spread. No way the Bills drop another one. Give me this.
I'm taking the Bills, but not the spread.
I'm taking the spread. I think they're going to be mad. Lions travel to Pittsburgh. 9 point spread. Give me Pittsburgh, but not the spread.
It's in Pittsburgh, so I would take Pittsburgh and the spread. I feel like the Chicago offense is better than the Detroit offense.
Ooh.
And we saw what TJ Watt in Pittsburgh did to Chicago. I'd take Pittsburgh in the spread.
Tampa going to Washington. 9.5 point spread. Give me Tampa, but not the
I'll
spread.
agree with that.
Panthers traveling to the desert. 10 point spread. Give me it all. Arizona.
Ooh.
Darnold, no Darnold. It does not matter.
Actually, I think Darnold is going to miss a couple of weeks, so I am going Arizona and the spread. I think it just came out he's missing a couple of weeks.
The Minnesota Vikings travel to LA. 2.5 point spread.
Chargers.
Taking LA. I actually think this one might be closer than 2.5.
I could see Minnesota winning this one, but I have the Chargers winning it.
The Eagles travel to Denver. 2.5 point spread. Denver's winning this. I think they are. Remember, they're in Denver.
I want them to win.
If they were in Philly,
I want them to
I
win.
would say Philly.
I don't know which Teddy Bridgewater is going to show up, nor do I know which Jalen Hurts is going to show up, so I'm going to go Denver.
All right, Seattle traveling to the Packers. This game I do not like. Russell might play.
Russell.
It looks like he's been cleared.
I think Russell's going to play. Aaron's the question.
Aaron could play. I don't think it's likely. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm picking Green Bay, but I don't feel very confident. Mostly because the quarterback situation is unknown.
We got KC's traveling to Las Vegas. 2.5 point spread. Guess what? I'm picking KC. I think the Raiders have too many issues, and the bomb's about to fall out.
Las Vegas, let's go.
Really? Oh wow. Then we have the Rams traveling to San Francisco. Rams have a 4 point spread. They're gonna obliterate that.
Smash the Rams.
All right, that's all she wrote for this week. Remember, wash your hair at least once a week. Anything from you, Sean?
Wear helmets. I just started learning how to skateboard. Wear a helmet, kids.
This man getting up there in years learning how to skate.
Whoa. It's perfectly normal for people in their late 30s to start skateboarding, okay?
Nope.